5, 4, 3.
Hello, and I am Sharon Lacey with View It. Today we have a very interesting guest, and actually two guests with us. We have Chris and Randy with the AITC. So how about you start us off by telling us what that stands for and what you guys are doing?
Okay, my name is Chris Wright, and I'm the founder of the Artificial Intelligence Trust Council. And basically what we're doing is we're building a network of trusted individuals that will have opinions on AI and other topics, and those opinions are based in truth and honesty. Mm-hmm. And so we've built a network of good people who have those ideas in alignment. And so Randy is one of those folks, and so to become a member of the Artificial Intelligence Trust Council, initially what we're doing is we're recruiting firefighters, EMS workers, veterans, and commercial pilots. My background is I'm an Apache pilot, and I'm still in the Army Reserves. I'm retiring right now, mm-hmm. and moving on. And so this is going to become my full-time deal, is all the AITC stuff.
Yeah.
But the background is that we're seeing the craziness that's going on with artificial intelligence, and our goal is to be a barometer of goodness online. Mm-hmm. And so it's a big task, but we're up for it. And so I think it's necessary. And so, so that's my background.
Yeah. So I'm super curious then. You said you're an Apache pilot. So how were you in the tech space at all, or what led you to get involved with the AI topic and realize that we needed to have some sort of guidelines established there?
So early on, like pretty much after high school, I had an internship in Newport Beach, mm-hmm. and where I worked for a company called Tech Coast, and interned there, and basically what I learned, that was, I guess, Web 1.0
yep.
back then.
Yep.
And it was around 1999, 2000, 2001 timeframe. And lived in Newport Beach, and got to see the formation of the current internet. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, at that time, it was like more AOL and those types of things.
Yeah,
and,
the read-only kind of things.
Read-only, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, in one of the things I was able to do as an intern there is I was reviewing business plans from all these entrepreneurs that were coming in that had these bright ideas about what they wanted the internet to look like. And so I feel like
wow.
It was very interesting. And
fascinating.
So,
yeah.
And so I feel like right now we're in a similar position because the world is transitioning to Web 3.0.
Indeed.
And so we're moving away from what I call these, basically they're dinosaur tech providers. And you look at the business model of these companies, and it's like, it's completely powers at the very top. Mm-hmm. You're able to be manipulated in any way possible. You're able to be shadow banned at every turn.
Yeah.
You're not in absolute lockstep with...
We are not talking about Instagram or YouTube, are we?
I don't want to get banned.
Can you say that?
Can we say that? We'll have to bleep it out.
Yeah.
So
edit that.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at is there's a problem.
Oh, yes.
We have a big problem on our hands.
Yes.
And that's my strength, I would say, is that I've always been interested in solutions and always looking at building things that help people.
Yeah, so that's a true entrepreneurial spirit, seeing a problem and wanting to find a solution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly. So, so through that, I've built the Artificial Intelligence Trust Council, and the whole concept is that we need to go back to the foundations of trust. Mm-hmm. And so the foundations of trust start with individuals. So it starts with me trusting you. You're a nice person. Randy's a great guy. Like, I trust him.
I am a great guy.
I'm kidding. We just met. I don't know.
No, but so and I'll just give you the basics of it. So as a council member, and the whole concept here is to avoid the standard problems that you get with the Web 2.0. Mm-hmm. And Web 2.0 is driven, about 50% of traffic is bot traffic.
For sure.
Fake?
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, so we built an entire system that's based on half of it being fake.
Yeah.
And so think from an advertising standpoint, you're a business owner trying to advertise, and you're like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm actually putting up half of my money to nonsense.
Yeah.
How much does AI come into play with that algorithm of bots?
Bots, it gets even worse. It gets absolutely worse. And so
I'm just curious about that. I don't know that answer. That's why I'm wondering. Just when you said that, it made me think about it. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So it's getting way worse. And
yeah, it's interesting to think too. This is a conversation I've had before. Is how do we know that platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter aren't putting out their own bots and then charging you to advertise to the bots that they're putting out and boosting up their own systems?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we need a trust council.
We need a trust council. And so the whole concept is that good people want to be online. They want to operate kind of like the way we used to, where it was a free internet and we could share our opinions without the fear of people crushing us or being like, called out for everything that you do. And Canceled, exactly. And so I brainstormed an idea to basically decentralize those concepts and give the power back to the individual.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Web3.
And so that's what the Trust Council is. And so it piggybacks off the decentralization concepts of Web3, and we can get into it. But through that, to become a member of the Trust Council, like I said, we're getting airline pilots, commercial pilots. You can become a member, veterans, firefighters, and EMS workers. So those are the folks, and the reason why is because those people have dedicated their entire lives to helping other people.
Yeah, they have a track record of doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so from that, it's a foundation of trust, and so through that you can then, so for Randy, he can now appoint 5 people that he feels that are trustworthy, and so the metric that we use, or the qualifier, is would you be willing to, for your trusted folks, would you be willing to leave $1 million in their house overnight and trust that they would watch it and that it would be there in the morning? And then it's kind of funny, but and if a UFO came over the house at night while they were watching it, that you would believe the person and be like, you know what? I trust him. He actually saw something.
Yeah.
And so so it's that level of truth and honesty that somebody that you really actually believe in and trust.
Yeah.
That would do that. And so that's one thing in the military that I miss a lot in the civilian world, is that you can rely on your friends in the military, and people are very good, and they have each other's back, and that kind of thing. And so that spirit ultimately is what needs to spread.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so Randy is a early adopter and one of the members of Trust Council. So
Yeah. How many members do you currently have?
we've got about 1,000 right now.
How do you all keep in touch and keep track of each other and interact currently?
Right now it's word of mouth, and so we wanted to be offline, and so the whole concept was to be offline, and basically it's human trust. So it's like I've got my counsel. I've spread the word a lot of different places, and ultimately what we're trying to do is get some airline pilot unions on board, also some larger veteran groups and things like that. And so we want a massive amount of people. And then ultimately through this baseline group of trusted individuals, obviously it will grow to their trusted folks, and you can pick whoever you want, and it's whoever he feels like picking. And for you, it's the same thing. So it's whoever you feel like picking, and then from that it can grow. And then it's all different types of folks, but it's your opinion of who is good and who is trustworthy in your life. And so if that is reflected online, it becomes this very strong apparatus to base things off of. And so in short order, you're going to see the collapse of a lot of the big institutions due to the corruption and all these other things that you're saying and whatnot. And so so this is an opportunity to have a force of good, honest folks that are helpful to humanity and who have humanity's best interests at heart. Those are the folks that are the early founders, and obviously, and it's up to them to pick the rest of the members of the Trust Council.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, we're working with some good folks on the background and the backbone of it to ensure that it's decentralized, free, and fair. And so we have some different metrics and things like that we're working with right now.
Yeah. So as AI is growing, developing, learning, because that's the nature of it, what do you think it will think of your trust council?
I don't think it likes it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what my first thought
That's why you got to
process
get it going before AI has to say.
Yeah.
That's why
and
we're-
offline
that's
to
where-
start with.
yeah.
Get some ground and some traction before you go up against your enemy.
And it's weird because it's like, come on, like we're all human here, so this is an easy thing to agree on, that we need to collectively as humanity look at this issue and be like, hey, you know what? There's some financially motivated individuals who are going to make a fortune on AI. Got it. But is that the best thing for humanity?
What I like about your concept and what kind of got me on board is somebody's going to control the proliferation of AI.
Oh, yeah.
It's either going to be the government or corporations, right? Or that mechanism, or it's going to be the people. And this is an opportunity for the people to have that control. I think that's a cool concept, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm on board with it.
Yeah, that breaks it down into a much more tangible issue, too. It's not this some unknown AI thing that we're up against. It's the government. It's the powers that be that we're used to having too much authority.
And what we see now is becoming a system that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think giving the power back to the people in any way, shape, or form that you can do that is the way of the future and where we're headed.
Yeah.
With all these things, with decisions, with AI. So
Yeah.
it's,
So this is something you guys have obviously given a lot of thought to. What do you think are the biggest dangers that AI poses moving forward?
Well, that's something from the military standpoint that I'm familiar with. Being a Apache pilot and understanding aviation, there are technologies that exist today which are pretty amazing and pretty shocking. And so I don't think the public really knows about a lot of those things.
Oh, for sure not.
they do not.
And so it's like, I think that if the public did know about some of the capabilities and some of the tools that a lot of these, all countries are adopting this, but especially third world countries, there's a major cost savings for developing AI-equipped drone technology to do offensive operations. And so basically they're able to strike targets autonomously. And so, for example, in Ukraine right now, that is happening. And so you have drone swarms that are going out, and they're executing missions with no human interaction. And that's something I'm very familiar with, is going out into combat, and you're flying around and you're seeing targets, and there's an emotion to it where you're looking at a target or you're looking at somebody on the ground and you're like, well, there's a responsibility to act or not act. And so there requires a human judgment there.
Target discrimination, target discretion, something that I was an Army Green Beret, so that's something you're trained on a lot, is to shoot or not shoot. And I think, as far as what I've seen is you should have a human component to that, because you're only making that decision if your life's in immediate danger, or if somebody else's life is in immediate danger. Other than that, and how is AI going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just picking a face out of a crowd. And are we trusting a system to do that we don't have control of anyway? So
Yeah, good points.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we got our work cut out for us with this whole thing. But that's typical of technology, is that anytime a new technology comes on board, humanity usually wants to weaponize it, and so I'm like, can we please just not do that and just leave this one alone and just be like, hey, this is awesome technology. There's really cool aspects to it.
How can we use it to end world hunger?
Yeah, and
or
it could possibly do all these amazing things.
Yeah.
But the most dangerous course of action in the military, at least, is always the one that we're the most worried about, right? And so that's what it is. It's weaponized.
Yeah.
It's being weaponized, and that's what's going to grow it fastest anyway. That's where all the money's going to go, right? Like that's where it always goes.
Yep.
Military-industrial complex.
Yep.
Is what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So it's so one of the big things is we're talking about limit, there's counter drone technology that exists right now, but it's not great, and it's hard to keep up with the amount of drones that exist. And then once these drones spread out, and they have the capability of there's a device that's out there. It's a box, and inside this box is a 3D printer, and inside the box also is a whole stack of microchips, engines, like motors for the drones, and also batteries. And so what you can do is this box will actually 3D print mission-specific drones to go attack targets.
Wow.
And the box will sit there for 2 months. So you could airdrop it into the woods anywhere in the world. And that box will sit there, and then over time, it could just launch drones as necessary, configured however it needs to then go attack whatever targets it needs to attack. And so, that ultimately decentralized amongst all these third world countries that are out there, and there's a lot of countries that are emotionally like motivated, and so or religiously motivated, and so so it's like, hey, I've got a tool that I can take up my counterpart over here, and there's really low consequence. It's I can just program it and be like, oops, like, sorry, it wasn't me. It was just AI, whatever. And so humanity is getting into this new realm of warfare that is just, it's not a place we really want to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, warfare gets more and more deadly as time progresses and humans get smarter.
Yeah.
Because everything gets turned into a weapon.
Yeah.
Every technology.
Yeah.
Nuclear energy, nuclear bomb.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, there's a lot of things to be worried about and to fight against, but what do you think some of the benefits are of the current technology that we have at our fingertips?
So it's amazing what AI can do. The computing power of it. Right now they're coming up with new, a million different types of drugs that they're working on right now to tackle major problems. And so I saw just the other day there was some flu strain that they, scientific community couldn't figure out how to come up with a antibiotic for it. And so they've developed these different types of medical products that actually you could, something that would take researchers 6 months, they're doing it in like a day.
Wow.
Right now with AI. And so they're solving problems left and right. And so ultimately what this leads to is it's a transformation of our healthcare. We have massive, longevity in our future. I was at a conference the other day, and there was a guy there that had a product that they had created that works with different types of proteins, and it actually allows your skin to reverse aging.
I've seen that, yeah.
Where do I get that one?
I know. Sign us up.
Yeah, and so there's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I've seen it. It actually was effective when they tested it in rodents. Like, they've actually proven that it reversed the effects of aging. So I can't imagine it will be too long until, there's probably already human testing. I don't know if they talked about it in the conference, but I'm sure it's happening. We probably just don't know about it yet.
I think offshore, I think it's happening.
Yeah.
And I think here in the States, it's kind of limited, but I think offshore they're doing it. And there's a whole story about China and what they're doing with all this technology. And that's one of the things that, I think it's 10-to-1, the number of patents in China for AI versus the United States. And so,
wow. That's not terrifying.
Yeah. And they're kind of shooting from the hip on it. They're just going for it and creating all sorts of interesting things.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. So anyway, so we got our work cut out for us, and ultimately, one of the biggest problems I see is trust. It's like, how do you trust content online? Like, what do you let's say you see a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger singing a country song. Nowadays, like, you have no idea of knowing, is he really good at singing country music, or is that totally fake? So that's one of the functions of the AI Trust Council, is that it offers polling, and I can establish polling from any group I choose, and I can see, okay, well, what does this community think of these topics, and so I can then post these polls. So in this Arnold Schwarzenegger scenario, I could ask, like, who thinks this is real or fake, who posted it, that like where did it come from, those type of things, and then ultimately through that you can get a community to decide on what it is, and ultimately it leads to the people posting content to focus on what is true and real. And you know that if it comes from a trusted network, and the basis of it is honesty and truth, and that information can be relied on. And so that's very hard to find right now online.
I think the KYC process, that's kind of a major part of Web3 and Web3-based decentralized apps, is a major component to that too, to doing away with the bot traffic online and the fake content. When you have an actual, genuinely recognized human being, like this person had to KYC to exist on this platform, so being View-It, because that's what I'm familiar with and working to build. That's one of my favorite parts of it, is there is inherently more trust in that, because you had to go through an identity verification process to even be a part of that platform. So it might not be as highly vetted as the AITC, but it is still a step in the right direction to getting to that process. So let's say you're not a member of the AITC. Do you have access to the information, like these polls, and let's say you find something is fake or true, and how can people that are outside of that trust council have access to that information, or can they? Yeah,
so the whole concept is that you can, as an outside user, you can come to it. It's got a search engine. As you come onto the site, you can search. You can even adjust the parameters of your search from the Trust Council members to see, like, hey, here's a group that I know and respect. Let's say the Firefighters Union. Okay, are the Firefighters Union, are they going to, lead me in the wrong direction? And I would say probably not. They're probably good folks. And so, if I want to base a search off of something, I can do that. You can do AI modeling or data set creation. You can get that from those groups also. So the big concept of the AI Trust Council is that you own your metadata, and that is the future of the
data ownership.
And so that is the big thing. It's like you look at these business models where you have no idea where your metadata goes. It's like you're creating metadata all day long. Every time you pick up your phone, it's like, massive amounts of information from your camera, your microphone, to, how you even moved it, the speed and all that kind of thing. It's all recorded. And it's like, you have no idea where that goes. Mark Zuckerberg does, though. And so it's like, well, how about we share it?
He is not in the AI.
He's got a long way to go until he's like a member, I think.
No, it's not happening. I won't let him in.
You're not allowing it.
Not happening.
There's too many degrees of separation. Or at least there should be.
Whoop that ass if you try.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about the AI Trust Council, how could they find out or find you or get more information?
So they could come on theaitc.com, and it's our landing page right now, and the site is currently in development. So we're building it out right now, and trying to get as many cool features as we can embedded into it. And obviously it's a work in progress, and it's going to grow. But theaitc.com is where you can find it, and it tells the story, and not to worry. The initial group are those categories I talked about, like the firefighters, EMS, and veterans, and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it will spread, and it will spread very quickly. And so there's tons of good folks that are going to be in it, and it's all based on the opinions of the early adopters of who is trustworthy and who is good, and that kind of thing. And but even if you're not in the Trust Council, you can still go to the Trust Council. You can search from that platform. You can look at information. You can analyze things. You can participate. But once you're actually in the council, then you can create your own what we call boardrooms. And these boardrooms are basically, if you think of Pinterest and topics, it's a place where people can go to find trusted information on different topics.
Yeah.
So it's bridging a gap that I think is very necessary right now.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why that just took me back to, this is going to age me a little bit, but like my elementary school days of pulling out the Encyclopedia Britannica to do research. Like you have a trusted source, you can go, you can find your topic, you can get information that is of a higher trust, a higher caliber than just going to Wikipedia or any other online source that we might have access to today.
Exactly. Yep. And that's the big takeaway is that, you want good quality information, and you know that it's coming from a good place. That's what you see most times in the internet now. Is all these companies. It's all about like IPO, going and getting your funding and trying to get as rich as possible, as quick as possible, and all that kind of stuff. And you can see the damage that does ultimately. Like TikTok would be a perfect example of that in the United States. It's like, is this really the best thing for people? And if you're the owner of that, it's like you have an ethical responsibility to make sure that your product isn't destroying the minds of the youth or things like that. So that's one of the big things that we want to partner with different watchdog groups that are looking at these products and looking at these different AI tools and trying to identify tools that are very positive for people, and also identify tools that might have some long-term negative impacts that should be looked at and kind of worked around. So.
Yeah, look a little bit down the road, not just right here and now.
Yeah, because you could easily make money. Especially with these AI tools. There's millionaires made every week nowadays off these things. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, we've covered a lot of topics. Any closing thoughts for today, gentlemen?
Go for it, man. Go for it, man.
Yeah.
It's your show.
Yeah, right. No, I would say I think good things are coming. I'm very pleased at there's a concern amongst most people right now, and most people are good-hearted. They want the right thing for humanity, and so I'm super encouraged by that. And I think that there are going to be some growing pains, but I think that as we move forward, I am very positive about where we're going, and I think that ultimately AI is going to be a friend to humanity, and I think as long as we watch it and are careful with it, I think that'll be a boost for us, and I think that we have a very bright future, and there's all sorts of amazing new technologies that are coming that will really help us out.
Awesome. Great closing thoughts. I like that. Overall, positive message.
Yep.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No, I agree. I think there's a shift that's happening because of all the negativity in the media and what we're seeing. I think it's kind of brought everybody an awareness that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
And everything's trying to divide us. And instead, we're building communities like this that you're seeing pop up in all aspects of life, communities of people just coming together and common interests of not listening to the narrative that's being pushed on us every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
2 cents.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. Thanks for coming on, telling us about the Trust Council and some of the things to watch out for and some of the things to look forward to. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Good job, guys.
Not bad.
See? Easy.
It was easy.